I'll tell you what you want to do. You want to get back where you come from.
Thank you.
I'm sick of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And it's you that
Thank you.
caused all this. And I'll tell you what, if I could see, you'd have been changed out of bloody Ackworth, because I'm just about big sick on you.
Can I, Mr.
I want to get back down into bloody Leeds, wherever you come. Get up! Don't touch me!
Sure.
Just don't touch me. I'm sitting here.
Can I?
And I don't give a shit, because I'll tell you what, it's wrong what you've done.
Okay.
Absolutely wrong. And somebody's going to get killed there, and I'm telling you, you get back where you bloody come from, because this village years ago, you'd have been run out of this village, and it'd be me and one of them, so they knock your bloody head off. And I'm not going now. If you want me to go out, fetch some police. And I'm telling you what, I wish the police were here. Look, there's a card number there. And that's what, and is the secretary, eh?
Councillor Sherry, yeah.
I can't see secretary, is she here?
Again, to Wakefield Council.
Could you do that?
Let them know.
Pass that on for me.
This is working.
I don't, yeah, well,
What's that channel?
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish you were blind, I'll tell you. If any of you are blind, it'd be gone.
Would you be able to email that through and we can take that?
Yeah,
That's all.
it's just a suggestion that we acknowledge that there was a near accident and that we email Wakefield Council about it.
Right.
She's upsetting.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Damson.
Have we finished, Doug?
Yeah, I've finished now, so I think so.
The reason I've come to this meeting tonight is on a very similar subject, but I'm going back now over 2 years, 1 month, where a petition was got on a serious matter of getting people across the road out of Orchard Drive. Now, if anybody's familiar with that area, it's a trapped area by 2 major roads. Right? Now, they put a crossing, which is used very, very regularly, to get the people to the supermarket. Right? The traffic lights are on, you probably, when you're driving through, you pulled up many times for people crossing. Now, Orchard Drive people, how do they get to it? Without crossing the A638. Now, the A638 is a very, very busy road, which you've been talking about here today. Right? Now, it's over 2 years ago, and I've a number of councillors and people of authority here that's been involved with this within a month, and the paperwork that came through on it was that it had been passed. That's 2 years and 1 month. Now, since then, it's just died. You know, I mean, when you were putting up for a district councillor, I even caught you when you were doing your canvassing. And it's been on the agenda. Who's held it up? Right? I look round the list here, apart from yourself, Martin. There's Matthew Morley, there's Jess Carrington, Martin Barnes. He was the final one that put the letter in to say that it had been passed. Michael Reynolds, Denise Jeffrey's officer, Katie Sharp. You probably know who she is. But she was the one that she was the leadership of the support officer, right? She pushed this through for it to be dealt with by highways. Gets to highways, as far as we know, it passed it, we're in writing here to say yes, it's been sanctioned, but they were talking about the wrong side of the roundabout. They were talking about on the west side of it, not the east side. Now the east side is where this crossing is, to keep the cost down, because they're not, that will mention about too costly and they couldn't afford this is over 2 years ago. And so an island, the traffic would have at least got people into a safe position to get to complete the journey. I cross it regularly, and the time you've got halfway over, they're on you. the distance is too great for people of age to get that distance. And a traffic which will cost nothing. I would gamble that I have enough materials in the Wakefield depot to do that. The reason I said that, these things get hit with vehicles occasionally right throughout the area, so they have them in reserve and they're not long. When there's been a bump, they're out and repaired. Now, the other thing about it, which keeps the cost down a lot, going back a year or so, when the middle school was operating, that was a crossing for all the children in that region, Doncaster Road and Hillside, to cross over. And there's still evidence of it. There's still the drop curves on both sides of the road, which is the major cost, is done. You haven't got that to do. All it wants is an island, right? And then at a later date, if they can put a proper crossing when they can afford it, then up, but not to ignore it for 2 years. And who are the people that stopped it? This is what I've come for. I've given all these names here, and they all should be accountable because they've all been involved in it. Who stopped it? And for what reason? I'm asking you now, as district councillor, and you sit and attend all the meetings at Wakefield, who is stopping it all?
Well, you've given a lot of history there. Like that's
facts and truth.
I'm not saying it isn't. You know, but you mentioned a lot of names. I mean, you've also missed our Councillor Massey as well, who's been involved. I have information here in my pack tonight of which shows he's involved.
I purposely didn't mention him because he's out of office.
But he was involved as well, so he'll have had casework relating to this. Each district councillor has casework. Now, I have an open case with this very matter. I'm currently battling with the Highways Department to get it done. Now, one of the problems I'm having is finding out what's previously been done. That's one of the battles I'm having personally as a district councillor, even from my own side. So, again, I've got notes of which I will follow up to the best of my ability as to what previously has happened, and if things have been granted or not granted, find out why they haven't gone ahead, if decisions have been made. But I wasn't a district councillor then, so I don't know that decision. Again, this is a decision that was made by Wakefield Council. I was only a parish councillor then, so, you know, on a lot of this that you've mentioned. I currently have a case that's open, and I'm currently still battling with it. Last year, when I had the case open, because I do remember you speaking to me prior to me being elected, it was one of the first caseloads I logged, and basically they said there wasn't the budget. That's what they said to me. So they didn't have the budget for the 2024-2025 budget to put it in. So that's all I can say, but I can follow up with you. But again, it's not the parish council that's responsible for highways. Well, it's Wakefield Council.
It's Wakefield Council. But as an old subject here, we come to our point of contact. If we want something to do, should be coming to a parish council meeting, and you'll decide whether it should be pushed wherever it wants to go. But as councillors, you should be involved, not turning around and say, "Not to do with me." You've got to be involved.
Well, I'm not
saying that. What I'm saying is that for these to go, there's a procedure, isn't there? Right?
Yeah,
and that's why I've come tonight, because there's been a failure of procedure, so we're starting all over again. 2 years, right? 2 years, it's a long time to wait for something that will pass. I'll just read a little thing here from Martin Barnes. Thanks for the notes, yes, and support. Just to confirm that the zebra crossing will now be installed as I proposed, and will look to an additional location on the 23rd. Near to and they put it down, is near to the co-op. It is perceived that the school pupils across are suggested by the parish council. Right? When we talk about the pupils, they were talking in the wrong area anyway. The pupils that used to cross, they crossed over where I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
And the reason why it was done, it was too near the roundabout. They wanted to keep the kids away from the roundabout, so they were diverted through Orchard Drive. right? There's a proper footpath, and it's all laid out now for residents to use. All we want is a damned island, and
Yes.
2 years is ridiculous.
I totally agree with you.
Well, how do we line it up then?
Well, we do. I mean, Councillor Richmond's put forward a motion tonight, of which, you know, that'll get some discussion. I've already told you I've got casework relating to this specific matter, which I've taken up since being elected. You know what I mean? Things are still being pushed. Things are
Can the
still...
chair come here now and say, well, if that were the case, that were a letter from Martin Barnes to say that it had been passed, right? Can't you go back to Martin Barnes and what the hell's happened?
If you can send me that email, I will take that email and I will forward that on to the relevant portfolio holders and the relevant councillors, and I will say, look, I've got residents saying this, it states this, can I get some answers over this, please?
Well, the one there that...
So if you provide me some information,
but
I'll quite happily take it
he
forward.
were acting suggestion to Carrington. She's not ever, as far as I know, got involved with it. But he wrote to her, this is up to her.
Well, I'll double check with my colleague there. But I've asked you for, you know, if you could send it through to me, I can use it as my evidence.
Yeah. Well, I'm reluctant to be passing something on that somebody else has mailed, right?
Okay.
The only reason I think that it came through to me, because there's no signatures on at the bottom, it just says regards, right? I assume because we were a representative of the public that did the petition. So I think it's been a courtesy thing. They just drafted me a copy of what they were doing to let me know that there were action being taken. And it states here that just to confirm that the zebra crossing will now be installed. It couldn't be any clearer than that. And nothing ever happened after then. So somewhere along the line, somebody put their foot on it.
Okay. I'll see what I can do. I've made my notes. I'll add it to the casework I've got already related to this matter.
Thank you.
Derek, did you want to?
It was a matter of high raise, Chair. I'm not going to raise it. I think there's enough time being spent.
Oh, right.
I will write, or I
Thank
will
you.
bring it up at the next meeting.
Can I just say one? I asked last month what's happening with Quarry Halls Community Centre. You said that it was with the lawyers. You didn't know when you last spoke to them. You didn't know when you're next going to speak to them. And the clerk said she was going to take it up. Has there been any movement? Are we going to get Quarry Halls?
We've had a site meeting with Strata in terms of, because they've suddenly come back to life again. Like I said, we're dealing with another party in relation to this. You know, it's Strata's building to hand over to us. You know, we want the community building and we want all the land, but we also want it all to be correct. And the building, there's a few minor things that need sorting out. The building's more or less ready to go, but we have certain things we need to take on board, which is the land as well. And they need to sort that land out. And we want to make sure that land is right, because if we can't get the grass cut, if we can't get things sorted out, that's going to be a hold-up for this parish council. That'll affect precept payers, that'll affect, you know, all these sort of things. So we've got a lot of things to make sure are right. And the work that we've done so far did need doing, and that was money well spent in my view. But we need to make sure that they take the responsibility of everything that needs doing. And so we're not going to take over that building and the land that goes with it until we can get more progress on some of it. So that's where we're at. And it's currently with the solicitors, it's currently with Strata, and we are, again, working away as hard as we can to get that done.
I must admit, like these gentlemen, this thing's been going on for years.
I agree.
And it just seems as though nothing's getting achieved. You've got a project manager, I believe. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I'd be emailing these people every week saying what's going on. So there's one more question. What's happening with Low Ackworth? Have we got a lease on that yet? I mean, this has been going on for 8 years. Is this another one that 8 years we're still dealing with it, we're trying hard, we're trying to do this, we're trying to do that? Nothing seems to be getting achieved.
But when you're dealing with other parties, you are reliant upon them and their information as well. So if they're not, if the other side isn't playing ball, that's where the problem lies. And we are lobbying, we are doing what we can to get it done.
You've got the actual council itself at Wakefield that's dealing with their planning and all the rest of it. Surely you should be getting those involved, your MPs involved, driving it. It just seems to be...
In relation to Low Ackworth, I can tell you now, I've had a walk around the chief executive and specifically mentioned Low Ackworth. He then sent through a template lease, which is not appropriate for Low Ackworth. So again, we're back to the same problem. And I can say that, and that's not, the lease has to come from Wakefield. If they keep sending us the wrong thing and it's not right, then we have to knock it back. There's no point us signing a lease that's incorrect, is there? Or are you wanting us to sign a lease that's incorrect?
No, I don't want you to sign a lease that's incorrect. I expect you to...
Exactly, that's what we're doing.
I expect
so we
you
knock
to
it back.
escalate it to the MPs
So we knock it
and to
back.
their council. Have you got correspondence, basically, over 8 years saying how bad the lease is?
I mean, I haven't been on the parish council for 8 years, but we've had backwards and
Yes,
forwards.
but what I'm saying is
there will be that information will be there. Do I have it to hand? Of course I
Okay,
do.
I'll send in a freedom of information.
Okay. Thank you. Right, I'm going to bring the public session to a close then. So item 2, declaration. Sorry, so go on. I will.
I just wanted to...
Sorry, I didn't mean to miss you off.
It's okay, I'll be brief. I just wanted to come, conversely to what everyone else is saying about battling to try and get things done, that seems to be the theme. I'm just gobsmacked at the fact that that gym has just popped up right outside my house, and I have no knowledge, no forward knowledge of it. I might not have been in the right place at the right time. I work full time. You know, I saw a Facebook post a few days before saying that there's going to be a gym installed on or outdoor equipment on Dando Way. I didn't know where on Dando Way, etc. And then just a few days, not like these guys are talking about 8 years, it wasn't even 8 days later that they were as digger on cutting up the grass. My son sent me a photograph while I was at work saying, you know, the work started on this thing. And my land is I'm the closest house in the village to it, and I've just not been consulted whatsoever. And I've been told after a discussion with Gemma that it's been lawfully installed and that it doesn't need to have planning permission because it's play equipment, and that it's just has to have the consent of the landowner, which is Wakefield Council, and that's why it's been able to go ahead. But I'm just really disgusted as, you know, a member of the community that something's been able to be installed right outside my house without anyone mentioning it to me. I think it's completely disrespectful. I've lived there for 33 years and I knew nothing about it until it was there.
Just a quick comment on that. I mean, that idea first came because...
I know now where it all first came, but what I'm saying is I didn't know anything until the spades went in the ground. These guys are battling for things that have not happened for years, and why has that happened like that with no consultation?
Well,
all the neighbours are furious.
It's been going on since 2021. That's when it started. And I understand.
Time.
I understand what you're saying there. I mean, again, the parish council engaged. We had SIL funded and we had to go forward with which we got ideas from the community. And for a project to go ahead, we then got to go through planning with Wakefield Council because they are the landlords, and this is what they've advised. Now, with hindsight, would it have been better if the parish council would have done their own consultation and that sort of thing? Of course it would.
Yeah.
With us not being, because normally that would come from planning. So it would have been Wakefield Council that normally do that consultation. So again, these are questions that I can certainly ask as to why there's been no consultation.
It's rather late now that it's there.
Well, I understand that, but...
And there's already been antisocial behaviour. I'm not opposed, you know, I'm a social worker. I'm fully inclusive of people. I battle hard for people's injustices in life, etc. And I try to include people in social activities. But to not have, you know, even a voice when it's like meters from my house. So this week, or when it first opened, and I'm not opposing anybody using it, lots of young girls, you know, being there during the day, using it appropriately, enjoying themselves, that's fine, but it's going to bring negative behaviour, it's going to attract, you know, things that I don't want on my doorstep. There's been kids out there drinking, I've got up in the morning, there's bottles, beer cans all over the cutting. I pick things up from around the bench and down the path towards my house anyway, regularly. But this is just going to, potentially bring trouble. And I just feel disgusted that I weren't asked about it. I've been told it needed to be put in a place where it's visible. And so is that because I'm the deterrent, that us as the neighbours around it are the deterrent for antisocial behaviour? Or is it that we're going to police the antisocial behaviour? It seems that there's like expectations that are placed on us that we've been unaware of. And like, I want to know why, who, and when and why was it decided to go there? Because I've heard other stories that it should have gone further down near to the pub, and for some reason it didn't, where it wouldn't be in direct sight of anyone's house. And normally these things are installed as kind of circuits, like there's one in Persimmon Park, where it goes along. But what's happened here is you've just made a gathering point for teenagers on my doorstep. And this weekend they were swearing. I was playing with my granddaughter, that's 3, at the other side of the bushes. They wouldn't have seen me. I was literally probably 5 or 6 metres away from them. And they're just swearing, and it's just completely changed the area without any consultation. So I've sent an email in today. I've made a copy of it here if you wanted it for this meeting, because I also don't want to go through all the questions that I have about it. And I just, in your own time, if you'd like to reply to them, I'd appreciate it. And I've emailed it in.
Just to
I
let
think
you
the
know,
clerk would like to.
I wasn't in work today, but I seen them tonight and I've printed.
Okay, that's fine.
For everyone.
That's fine. Well, I don't expect you to,
It
go
will
through
be
on.
discussed as we've previously spoken. The original email that we sent is on the agenda for this evening, and I've got that to add to it as well.
Right, okay, thank you. All right, well, I'll leave you to discuss that then, if that's...
Again, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah.
Do take it.
Yeah, it's just really, when I've lived there for 32 years, a lot's changed in that time. When I bought that house, it faced the quarry. That's all that were there. And yeah, things changed. There's a whole estate there now, and that's progress. But this is taking liberties a bit too far. Right, the nature of it and the distance from my land